Welcome into this week's edition of the Coaches Show. We're all about our spring sports, softball, tennis, baseball, all this week. Joining me first is our head softball coach, Meleah Howard. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Well, Kevin, I really don't have a choice. You call me up here every week. So, yeah, I'm here.
Well, the good news is, Coach, the last time since we've talked, you've played four. You've gone 4-0. The last one we're going to talk about was a very special win in that one. But first, we'll go back to last week when you went over to Hines. First big road test in conference play, a ranked matchup against number 15, Lady Eagles out of Hines. You win these 10-2. The second one was 9-4. It was a lot closer than that for a lot of that game. But talk about how good it was to see your team face a little bit of adversity, and especially in that second game, never really didn't give up the lead, but it got real close, but you were able to pull it out. But talk about, as a coach, how good it was to see your team overcome that.
We've talked about this several times throughout our shows, and one thing about this team, and as previous teams for Co-Lin softball as well, but they don't ever give up. It's like sometimes they don't really respond until you punch them in the face, and they're like, hey, okay. That's how y'all want to play. Let's go. So they can handle it. They can handle anything you throw at them. They're very tough. They're a tough group. They're a special group for sure.
And you look in game one, we scored 5 in the first, 1 in the second. They scored their only 2 in the third. We responded with 3 in the fifth, and then 1 in the sixth. That's how you got the 10-2 mark there. You had 8 hits in this one, 2 apiece from Abby Burnett and Emily Williams, 1 from Breeley Phillips, Yari Van Blaircom, Annie Poole, Morgan Chisholm. Those were all the ones that had 1. And then Addison Lindley gave you a complete game in this one. Got her 12th win on the season. 6 innings, 4 runs, 2 earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. Just a solid day from Addison and a solid day from the lineup.
Absolutely. Addison's doing what Addison does. She's getting it done, and the team's got her back. And, very proud of her just to be consistent. That's a big thing for her this year. She's been consistent on the mound every single game day, and I'm proud of her for that.
Yeah, not a big strikeout pitcher per se. I think about 45 strikeouts based on the stats that we looked at earlier. About a 1.75 ERA, but opponents hitting just 187 against her. Mm-hmm. That shows you just how tough she is as a hitter to face.
Well, we talk about it all the time. Like, I love a strikeout, but we got to get 21 outs. And the fewer pitches we have to throw to get those 21 outs, which I will say, I don't know how many run rules we're at now, but we haven't had to get 21 outs in all the games. You only play 5 innings, you get 15 outs. But regardless, as a pitching coach and for our pitching staff, my challenge to them is, hey, I need you to get outs. We got to get outs. Defense, we got to make every out count, and we can't, take any plays off.
Yep. And in game 2, this is one of those that you had to get all 21 outs. This one was the back and forth one. Hines actually took a lead early with a run in the bottom of the first. It stayed 1-0 till we scored 4 in the second, 1 in the fourth. They scored 2 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth. That made it 5-4 at that point. Real tight game. Then 1 in the sixth. 3 in the seventh, including a big 2-run home run from Caitlin Malone in the seventh as well, too. That's ultimately what made it 9-4. You had 2 hits each from Breeley and Yachty, a hit from Annie Poole, 1 from Emily Williams, 2 from Abby Burnett. Noelle Lesh led the way in this one, 3 for 3 on the day in this game. And then I mentioned that 2-run home run from Caitlin Malone, her 1 hit of the game. That was your 12 there. In the circle, Ava Browder got the win in this one, struggled a little bit in this one. 4 innings, gave up 4 runs, all on 10 hits, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Tip of the cap to Lily Crum. She came in. You went with her when they made it 5-4. She came in, absolutely slammed the door on them. Got a save in this one, her second of the season. 3 innings, scoreless, hitless, 1 walk. So not the best start from Ava, but again, she got the win. That's the most important part. And Lily came in and really picked up Ava when she was struggling.
And I will say this, those stats are a little skewed. Mm-hmm. You had to be there to know, Ava did not have her best that day. But it was 5-1 bases loaded with 2 outs, and there was a play that we should have made, and our girls know that, that allowed 2 runs to score with 2 outs that should have been an out. That goes back to what we said, hey, we got to get outs. And, some miscommunication that scored 2 runs, and they do count as earned runs against Ava, but it really wasn't, in her control at that moment. But, very proud of Ava for still pushing through. And then Lily, definitely, Lily's my little firecracker. When things get crunch time, I'm going to Lily. Lily handles pressure so well, and she just doesn't get phased, and I love that about her mound presence, and, the team's got her back as well. So, we found a way. once again, adversity strikes and we strike back.
Yeah, one thing that, as you mentioned, I've noticed about Lily, she gets up there in the circle. Something doesn't go her way. She's like, oh, well, on to the next one.
Yeah.
Nothing.
She flushes it really well. Yeah.
Nothing phases her at all. Then this past Tuesday, you played East Central in a game that, 2 games that were 9-1, 8-0. We'll talk more in detail about that 8-0 game 2 in a second because that was a special one. But I think in this doubleheader, expected a little more challenge out of the Lady Warriors out of East Central, but again, I think it was good to see your team come in there, handle business. Yes, we went down early in game 1, but girls responded immediately, didn't waste any time finding that answer, and I think that's the best thing you can see out of that as a coach in that moment.
Oh, for sure. And we knew East Central was going to be able to swing it well. We had to defend it. Pitchers had to do their job, but, they did score 1 run on us. Again, another bloop single to start the game off. And as a pitcher, you hate those because it's like, that was a great pitch and she found a hole. A missed pitch on another batter that led to a run. But, once again, we came back in and we said, hey, if they're going to score 1, we're going to score 2, And offensively, I ask of the team, hey, let's try to score every inning. I don't necessarily need you to score 7 in 1 inning and zeros the rest of the way. So let's score a couple every inning and just be consistent at the plate.
And that's what you did in this one again. They scored 1 in the first. We responded with 2 in the bottom of the first. That was a 2-run home run from Yachty there in that moment. 1 run in the second, 5 in the third, 1 in the fourth. That's how you got the 9-1 scoreline there. Yachty was the only person with a multi-hit game in this one. She had 2. Breeley, Annie, Olivia Higginbotham, Morgan Chisholm, Stella Roberts, Abby Burnett, Noelle Lesh, and Addison Lindley all with a hit in this one as well too. Addison, you went to her in a pinch hit moment and she delivered with a big RBI single. She ripped that one right at the East Central pitcher. Fortunately, she was able to get a glove on that one and deflected a little bit. Addison got the win in this one, got her league-leading 13th win on the season, improves to 13-1 with the complete game. 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. A solid day from Addison, both in the circle and in the plate at that moment.
Absolutely.
And then in game 2, this one was special. It was special for a lot of reasons. We could talk about how it was an 8-0 game. We scored 2 in the first, 3 in the third. 3 in the second and 3 in the third. There was a 2-run home run from Annie Poole, a 3-run home run from Breeley Phillips. But those weren't the highlights in this game. In this game, it was Ava Browder. And the reason why is because it was a perfect game. And, and I told you after the game, I said, that's the first one I've ever got to call in my career. They're an oddity. They're a rarity. I told somebody, I said, for reference, in professional baseball, it's only happened 24 times in 140 years. Co-Lin softball's had 2 in the last 2 years, and that's a rarity as well, too. And in softball, you think it's maybe a little bit easier to get that perfect game because you only got to get 21 outs. I would say it's a little bit harder sometimes to get it because, like what happened in game 1, the odds of a team getting a little bloop single are better than them not getting a hit for the entire game.
Correct. Yeah, no, Ava had an incredible day. A couple times, I think she actually got 3-0 on some batters, and I'm going, Ava, you have a perfect game. You cannot walk them. But, you can't say that out loud. You can't speak it into existence. But, phenomenal day for her. Very happy for her. Very proud of her. She works really hard. She wants it. And after not having the best outing against Hines last week and then coming into this game and throwing a perfect game, she really flipped her mind and her mindset between games. But, defense had her back, too. There were some great plays made behind her, and that was big. But, she pitched with a lot of confidence, and I love to see that about our pitchers, and just very proud of her. Yeah,
I think the even more impressive stat, just 50 pitches. That's an average of 10 pitches an inning.
Yeah.
But that includes an inning in the third inning. She threw 15. In the final inning, she threw 16 pitches. The fourth inning, the last batter she faced, she had that 3-0 count. She had a 3-2 count against the second batter in the fifth inning. That's when Yachty made the great catch out in left field. The final out may have been one of the most impressive outs, too, because Breeley leaves her feet, and I'm up there in the box going, get back up, throw the ball, get back up, throw the ball.
She did.
And she got her by about a step, but it was a very special moment for everybody that was there, and I hope everybody that was there and everybody that was watching really appreciates that moment for what it was.
Absolutely.
So now you turn your attention to this upcoming weekend. We're going to have Sophomore Day. We're going to start that about 1:20, 1:25-ish, somewhere in there. Honor our non-sophomores, but we're also going to host Northeast. What do we know about the Lady Tigers coming into that one this upcoming Saturday? I know that's a team that's kind of been a little bit up and down in their non-conference, but now the conference is kind of settled in. They're starting to settle in as well, too.
For sure. Northeast is going to be scrappy. You know, they're going to have a couple good arms to throw at us. They're going to hit the ball well. You know, our pitchers got to continue to do what they've been doing. But yeah, I look for it to be a good matchup.
And then, of course, if we don't get to talk to you before we face this one, we'll talk about it real quick because this one's going to be a top 3 matchup. You're going to go to Pearl River, go down to Poplarville on this upcoming Tuesday, face off against the top-ranked Wildcats. That I have an expectation that those 2 games are going to be dogfights.
Oh, I'm sure. For sure. You know, we hope it's a wolf fight and we end up on top. That's what we're hoping. But no, it's going to be good for sure. But yeah, Pearl River's coming up, but I told the girls just one game at a time, one day at a time. You know, 28 conference games in a season is insane. So you can't look too far ahead and not focus on the one right in front of you. So that's our goal right now. Focus on Northeast, and then we'll worry about Pearl River after Northeast.
Every athletic, every sport is one of those where if you look too far in front, the team that's right in front of you will catch you, and especially in softball. So that will wrap up our softball segment. Again, they go 4-0 in their last 4. Sweep Hines 10-2, 9-4. Sweep East Central 9-1, 8-0. A perfect game from Ava Browder in that game too. 50 pitches again, folks. It was a special game too for the Lady Wolves and for Ava Browder. They will host Northeast on this Saturday for Sophomore Day. Sophomore Day festivities start about 1:20, 1:25 as first pitch between the Lady Wolves and Lady Tigers at 2 p.m. And then again, they'll be on the road against Pearl River on Tuesday, March 31st at 4. That'll wrap up again our segment with Coach Howard. We appreciate her joining us. We'll talk to her next week as well.
And I am glad to be here, Kevin. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Oh, it's always good to talk to you. Always good to talk about how good the Lady Wolves are doing as well, too. So stick with us through the break. We've got tennis and baseball coming your way after this. Welcome back in. Thanks for sticking with us through the break. Joining me now for the first time this season is our head tennis coach, head men's and women's tennis coach, Tripp Case. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And Coach, obviously off to a really phenomenal start to the season. It's sad that we haven't been able to get you in before now because I know the season is almost over. But, you know, we've still got a few matches. We got a really important one this coming Friday. We'll talk about that in a second. First, let's talk about the girls. The women's side, Lady Wolves, they're 9-1, 7-0 in conference play, and they've really just been running the table. You know, the closest match they've had this year, as far as wins goes, is a 5-4 win against Hines in non-conference. The only loss came, like we just said, came out of conference play. That was against Wallace State. Huntsville 7-2.
Right.
Everything
top 10
else is
team.
Yep,
yeah.
Top 10 team. Everything else has been 9-0, 8-1, 6-3. Just talk about how well this team has come together, especially with adding Dama late and those kind of things. But just talk about what you've seen out of that team.
Sure. I mean, we have had a great start, and I think it's come from a lot of freshmen coming in. 5 of the 6 starters are on the singles side are girls that just came in last semester. So I think them having confidence early has been huge, and then having some of our girls that, you know, have been around the block and this is their second go at it, just step up and be leaders. So it's inspiring to see how well we've done with all these freshmen.
Yeah, and you know that includes some changes. You had to make some changes before the season started, again because Dama came in late. You know, but your one doubles team in Georgie and Rui has been really, really strong. Rui's been really, really strong in one singles as well too. I think you said she's in contention to be the one singles champion for the conference. Those kind of things. Talk about how impressive it's been to see that one doubles team step up, and then Rui's been able to carry that success into singles.
Sure, Georgie has been just phenomenal this year, especially on the doubles court. She played 2 last year with Sophie Sisson for the most part, and her ability to step up and play at the one double spot has been great. I mean, her serve, her volleys have been the best they've been since she's been here. So pair that with Rory, who, I mean, man, you've seen her play, lefty, just consistent, has all the shots, and is just so poised and relaxed on the court. It's been a sight to see them play, and the chemistry is so well there. They came up short against Hines' one doubles team this last go at it, but what I'm going to say about them is you can't count them out. I mean, against anybody, they're right there in the mix. And like you said, they're still in contention if they can get it done against Jones and Northwest.
And then you talk about your other doubles pairings as well, too. Your two doubles with Dama and Addie, that has been a really good combination for you. They gritted out a really tough win against Hines, came from behind and won that one, forced a tie break, really hammered them in the tie break as well, too. And your three doubles pairings, I know that's changed a little bit throughout the year, but it's been a strong pairing for you as well, too, no matter who you've thrown out there.
Right. Our three doubles is undefeated in conference. Hopefully don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure they are because we talked about Claire Barton. She's undefeated in singles and doubles at that three doubles spot. But, yeah, I mean, Dame and Addie, they're just – man, they're competitors. And you put them together on the same court, and they've really challenged a lot of tough doubles teams this year. And they're building chemistry and building on that. Again, two freshmen. We'll see what next year holds, but I really like the way they're moving.
Yeah. And then you talk about singles play and those kind of things. I know Rui is playing in that one spot. You got Georgie in the two, Dama in the three.
Oh, yeah, flip there.
Flip those. Dama in the two, Georgie in the three. And then, your 4, 5, 6 have been really strong. It doesn't matter who you throw out there, be it Allie Grace, be it Ella, be it Claire Barton. I know it's been a mixture of those three. You've had a couple others you've thrown in there as well, too. But your singles sets have been really, really strong. And, I think that's what's helped you, even when you maybe don't sweep the doubles match, if you only get 2 out of 3, or if you drop 2 out of 3, I think you still really like your odds when singles comes around.
Yeah, we do. I mean, just from top to bottom, I feel like we have a ton of confidence in doubles and singles, but particularly singles at the bottom end of our lineup. Like you said, 4, especially 5 and 6, have just been time and time again. They've stood the test of time in these tough matches.
And then we'll flip the page and we talk about the men as well too. The men have had just as equally of a strong season, 7-2 overall in place. 6-1 in conference play. Their lone loss in conference play, a very close, I believe it was 6-3 set to Gulf Coast.
Right.
Everything else has kind of been like the women, 9-0, 8-1, win 6-3, those kind of things. The only other loss came to, actually, let me rephrase that. I think that's 7-3, 2 losses outside of conference play. The other 2 losses were Wallace State, Hansville, and Bevel State as well, too. 8-1, 6-3 on there. But in conference, these guys have been really strong. I know they had a 5-4 win against Itawamba the other day. Might have got caught looking ahead just a little bit. I know Itawamba threw a little trick at you, but talk about what you've seen out of the men's side. Your one doubles pairing. I don't know if there's any other team in the state can say, hey, we lost half of our one doubles team, and we're pretty much right in the same spot that we were last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. Again, a strong season, a start to the season with the men's team. I mean, you got Jake Busick, who, again, like you said, is right there at top of the table in doubles. Had an extreme turnaround in singles, too, at the 3 spot this year. Has really, in my opinion, overperformed and continues to play better. That one doubles team is undefeated. Nico, coming back from an injury all season last year, is top of the table at the 1 spot. So we're in contention for regular season champions at the 1 spot for doubles and singles, which is huge.
Yeah, that's just special. And correct me if I think Jake just eclipsed 50 career match wins not too long ago, which that's a special mark. You don't see a lot of collegiate tennis players at the JUCO level, I think, hit that mark unless they're a very special player. And I think Jake definitely fits into that category.
Absolutely. Actually, he's well over 60 now. I think he's somewhere close to 65 now since we posted that. But again, that kid works hard. He does everything right, and he just steadily improves. And on a doubles court, you've seen him. He can just take over at the net and with those overheads.
And then in your 2 double spot, I know that's been Nick Tozer, who came over late, came over after the winter break. I know you recently made a little bit of a change there, but I think you've seen that pay off. And it's not like the first doubles pairing was bad or anything like that. I think you just wanted to see if you changed it up, would it be any different? And I think it's paid some dividends for you. In that 3 double spot, again, that's a spot where no matter who you've put in there, it's been strong for you as well, too.
Absolutely. I mean, we moving Jax Leggett up to 2 doubles. We went back and forth on it, but one thing about Jax is he understands the game as well as anybody. We joke about him being just like having that engineering brain on the court and just understands how things work. And in doubles, pairing him with Nick, who has such strong ground strokes, is really quick and can react well. It's really been it's that doubles team has had good success and great chemistry, and that's why I think they'll continue to improve even into the postseason.
Yeah, and in singles play again, that you're so strong on that side. Again, it feels like even when if you don't sweep those doubles points, you feel really good about your singles matchups, because when you've got Nico at the 1 again, who's undefeated, Nick is a tough matchup for anybody at that 2 spot, because he'll just grind it out. And then, like you mentioned, Jake has performed really well in that 3, and then your 4, 5, and 6 guys are really strong as well too. I know Warren Rooks has been in there, Lane Breland has been in some of those spots. I think Warren Lucio has played.
Mm-hmm.
Your 6 spot has been Jack Slaggett pretty much all year. That's a spot he got into last year, and I think sometimes you go, do you want to have maybe your best stateside guy as your 6th guy? And I think Jax proves the point that having him there is really good, because he's won several critical points for you, including yesterday. Kind of got that clinching point for you in that 5-4 win against Itawamba.
Right, and per the rules, we play in order of ability, and we do that. But one thing about Jax is that I feel like under the lights, when the pressure's on, you start to see some of his best tennis. So I've been really pleased with how he's responded in tough matches. I joke about it kind of being that basketball background. They just know how to grit it out, and so his ability under pressure has been remarkable, and that's why he's had such great success this season. And you're right. I mean, it's incredible to for one, when you're starting up a lot of these matches 2 or 3 doubles points, rolling into singles, and you've got really from 1 to 6 guys that can show up and win on any given day. And, like you said, that close match, the one conference match we've lost this year was against Gulf Coast, and Nick lost in a full 3rd set. Our 2 doubles team, which that was, I believe, the first match where we made the switch at 2 doubles, they were 4-7 down, fought back, and fell just short 8-6. So I like I've told them all season, if everything can click, we can beat anybody in this conference. We just got to stay focused and do what we have to do.
I think people at home would hear 6-3 and think that's a really wide margin. But when you look at it in collegiate tennis, you've only got to get 5 points to win. You're talking about a couple of points going a different direction, and you win a couple of courts. You're talking about a 6-3 loss or a 5-4 win. So that that's the difference there. It's just a few things bouncing a different direction, for you or against you, and that's what separates a 6-3 loss or a 5-4 win.
Absolutely, and going back to Nick Tozer, because he was one of the close ones that I said in that one loss, fell short, and you look at his growth, because I mean, he flew over just this semester from Australia, and one thing about him is that every match he's getting more and more comfortable on the hard courts. Over there, they play on grass, so that's an adjustment. But that one-handed backhand, he's starting to get a little more comfortable on the hard courts, and he's just continued. Like I said, I keep saying continue to improve, but that's just what's happening. I mean.
And it is a wicked one-handed backhand. I've seen a lot of opponents just be befuddled when they see him hit it. So, we've talked about everything that's happened. Now we talk about probably the most important match that I can think of in the recent history of Co-Lin tennis. I said it yesterday on the stream during the Lady Wolf softball game. I said during the stream, this is going to be a fight for first. I think we can officially say that, because that's what it's going to be. Undefeated on the women's side, both teams. The men's side combined just 1 loss. That's on our side. But you got Jones coming in this Friday. It is a fight for first place. And you can't say it any other way, because you look at the records, they're the top 2 teams. And I think you like your odds going into this match, knowing that, hey, they've got to come over here. We play really well on our home courts. We don't really have to make any adjustments to the surface or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But what are you expecting out of the Bobcats when they come here on Friday?
Well, I mean, we're expecting their best. I mean, they're a well-coached team. Brooks Buffington's done a phenomenal job. I meant to look up their win streak. Not that that's what we're focused on, but it's pretty historic. I mean, you look at how he's done on both sides. His women, he's on a 60-something conference match win streak. And their last loss was in 2019 to us in the conference finals on the women's side. So we're definitely looking to end that streak, and it's going to be a challenge. But like I've told the girls all year, we're capable of it. We just got to go in, believe in that, playing our best, it's on our home turf, it's at our court. So, and we've continued to play well here at home, which is a great feeling. So I'm hoping in front of the home crowd we can really make it happen.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note, both teams have really found ways to grind out points and grind out games and those things. If you beat Co-Lin, that the Wolves and Lady Wolves have given their best and they've made you earn it. And I think that's been a hallmark of these two teams all season.
Absolutely. I mean, I keep telling them we're the blue collar bunch. We do what we have to do, in the trenches. When push comes to shove, we're not gonna back down. And I think that brand of tennis, in addition to just the increase of skill level, we continue to harvest, flourish here in those regards. And so with that mentality paired with more skill, I think you're going to see that we're going to continue to improve from the years to come. And, I mean, it's an exciting time to be a Wolf. Yeah. So.
And even with Friday being the fight for first and those kind of things, you've still got one more conference match after that. So even if you win those, you've still got to get up for one more. You're host Northwest on Tuesday. That'll be sophomore day as well for both teams. What are you expecting out of the Rangers tennis teams when they come over here that Tuesday? First, you'll start at 2 p.m. on that one. Then you got a couple that'll be on the road, but you'll also be focusing on region. I think
right.
The cool thing, the fun thing about if you do win first place on either side, you'll get to host the region on that side as well too. And being able to host region at your home court really improves your odds of being able to win it.
That's true. I mean, there's a lot at stake. So, we're excited. Northwest, we're focused on Jones on Friday, but Northwest is not one to look past. Ryan Mounts, the coach there, great coach. He's done a great job wherever he's been, and so and they're a good team. I mean, it's like you said, it's not one to look past, and I look forward to that matchup again. We've been playing really well here at home, so I hope we can rely on that, the excitement around sophomore day, and just get the job done.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll be able to get you one more time before the tennis teams get on to regionals and nationals and those kind of things. But again, lots of exciting things happening for Wolves tennis. Men are 7-3 overall, 6-1 in conference play. Women are 7-1 overall, 7-0 in conference play as well too. That may be 8-1 overall. Let me check that real quick. 9-1 overall. Lord, I was way off. My bad. I apologize. I'm human. It's okay to make a mistake every now and then, right? 9-1 overall, 7-0 in conference play. Again, as I said on the stream for the softball game, even if you're not a tennis fan, if you're a Co-Lin athletics fan, get out Friday to those tennis courts. Go support the tennis teams. I know Coach and the players would love to have a huge cheering crowd and really kind of give that home court advantage a bigger boost as well, too. Friday, Jones, 11 o'clock. Tuesday, they'll wrap up the home portion of the schedule against Northwest at 2 p.m. Again, Coach, thanks for joining us. That'll wrap up our tennis section. Stick with us through the break. We've got baseball on the other side. We'll talk with Coach Fless about how they did against Hines last week and then preview their next upcoming matches.
At Copiah Lincoln Community College, you'll find a family of instructors and staff who truly care about your success. And not to mention a really fun college experience, too. Co-Lin was recently ranked number 1 in the state for student success. So whether you need to start or finish your college degree, take classes on one of our 3 campuses or online, Co-Lin is the place to be.
Welcome back in. Thanks for sticking with us through the break. Joining me now is our head baseball coach, Kyle Flessner. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Appreciate you having me.
And Coach, since the last time we talked, we only played the doubleheader against Hines, and unfortunately it was a split on that day. You lost game 1, 8-5, rebounded for a really nice 8-4 win. Let's talk about that 8-5 loss in game 1. Your thoughts on that one? And, unfortunately, you can't say it came down to just one thing or another. You gave up the 5 spot in the first inning, and that really ultimately proved to be the difference.
Yeah, you can't ever put it on one thing, and the biggest part of it, I think, we didn't have the start we wanted from our guy. Wasn't able to get an out. Jennings came in to keep us in the ball game, so good job by him. Thought we gave away a lot of at-bats that we shouldn't have. Ultimately, just was not our best game played, and Hines, I thought, on the day played really well. So it was just kind of a combination of both not working our way.
Yeah, you look at the line score. They scored 5 in the first, 2 in the third, so it's 7-0 before the Wolves even scored 1 in the fifth. Scored 4 in the eighth, that behind the strength of a 3-run home run by Trey Davidson. Funny thing about that one, you and I have talked about it several times, is the ball before that, Trey pops it into foul territory, and the third baseman drops it, and the next pitch, he sends it 300-plus feet the opposite direction for a 3-run home run, and made it a 2-run game at that point. Unfortunately, the Eagles got one back in the ninth, scored 1 there, and, your guys had a couple of runners on, in the bottom of the ninth, had a ball that was struck really well. Unfortunately, right fielder was able to make a good play on it and kind of end the game. And that's how you get that 8-5 line. But I think it was good as a coach to see your guys overcome such a huge deficit early, find a way to fight their way back in it, make it a 2-run game, and really battle all the way to that last out.
Absolutely. It's a type of game where it feels like nothing's going your way. We had some lineouts that didn't seem to fall. It seemed like everything that hit their bat found a hole somewhere, whether it was weakly hit, sharply hit, or anything like that. This is that type of day where everything went against you. So the fact that we were able to at least get one win out of there, you got to find some positives. So.
Had 6 hits in this one. Trey Davidson led the way with 2. Bryson Jones, Donovan Moore, Caleb Brooks, Evan Holyfield had all your hits in this game. And then starting-wise, you look at it, or pitching-wise, Kavian Griffith got the start, just didn't have it in this start. I think that's the best way to say it. Unfortunately, didn't record an out. He gave up 5 runs, all of those earned. 2 hits, 3 walks, gave up a home run. That was the grand slam. That was what led to the 5 spot. Jennings Kimbrell came in, and Jennings did what Jennings did. He's old, reliable Jennings Kimbrell, as we like to say. 6 innings, gave up 2 runs. 1 of those was earned, 6 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Parker Ishii in his second appearance gave you 2 innings, and they were probably 2 of the best innings you could probably ask for out of your pen. 2 hits, 4 strikeouts. Lucian Walker came in, gave up a hit on a home run, 2 strikeouts there. So, I think outside of Kavian's numbers, and, it was I think a thing where he looked a little unsettled. Again, it looked like he just didn't have it. Everybody else, and even I think Kavian at times pitched well, but I think you would say everybody pitched really well for you.
Yeah, and I think the hardest thing to do as a pitcher is to get settled in. Not getting that first guy out lets the offense get something going. Next thing you know, they got bases loaded before anything even happens, and before you can ever get anybody ready, and 4 runs happen. So getting settled in is one of the hardest things to do, and it's something he's going to continue to grow at. And, I thought he handled it perfectly. He didn't make any excuses. He didn't try to blame anything else. It was, Coach, hey, I didn't have it, and I want to be ready the next time I go out there. Yeah. So that's all you can do.
And this is a kid that we've talked about here multiple times now. This is a guy who, he's throwing low 90s. His last outing before this one was a complete game shutout of a really good Parkland team. So, in some aspects, he really had earned that start there. Again, unfortunately, as we like to say, that's just baseball, and sometimes you just don't have it.
Yeah, if I get the decision to, pick our starter, I'm picking him every single time, and, I don't regret it, and we're going to keep working with him. So.
And the good news was in Game 2, you had Wes White on the mound, and as I told you, I said any day when Wes is pitching, I kind of like the Wolves' odds, especially in that game. Mm-hmm. And this is the reason why. He threw another complete game in this one. 12 strikeouts in 7 innings pitched, only gave up 1 earned run. There were 4 total, but only one of them was earned on 5 hits, 4 walks. A little higher on that walk side than what you expect out of West, but he was able to overcome a lot of that. And you look at this one, and this one really was back and forth. Hines scored 3 in the second off an error by the Wolves. You battled back with 1 in the third. 2 in the fourth, including a game-tying RBI double by Evan Holyfield. They took the lead back with back-to-back doubles in the fifth, made it 4-3. And then you had the 5-run sixth, including lead-taking, ended up being the game-winning 3-run home run by Evan Holyfield, a ball that he absolutely crushed off the scoreboard in Sullivan Field. And then the final 2 runs came on a 2-run home run from Trey Davidson, his second of the day. A ball that it took a minute for I think everybody to realize that one had gone out because he went dead center. And I think we all thought the center fielder had made a play on it, but then when he came up empty, we all got to celebrate. Your thoughts on how good it was to see the guys rebound, battle back, face a deficit early in this one, battle back, get the lead back late, and then seal it off?
Yeah, well, kind of going back to it, it felt like the whole day nothing was going our way. It seemed like if Hines could have anything go their way, it went their way. It seemed like all the blue pits, all the ground balls that get through, all the big strikeouts that they needed to in big spots. It seemed like every call went against us, and it just didn't seem like a very good day at the ball field. And you got a guy on the mound that's going to give you everything he has, and I guess that's a good problem to have, is he was still electric as all get out, and we felt like, hey, it wasn't his best outing. It seemed like with the 4 walks, and that's been the most he's had all year, and That's other people's really good day still. So it's a really good problem to have. To come out with the win and feel a little bit better and actually win the second game. So you're kind of the team that's leaving the field feeling a little bit better. We got a really good feeling going into our midweek, especially having the bye this past weekend.
And you look at it and just talk about the numbers for Wes. I mentioned him on the stream. He's thrown 26 innings in his last 4 starts. They've all 4 been complete games. In that span, he's given up just 2 earned runs, and he has 37 strikeouts. That is, those numbers are just mind-boggling. The 37 strikeouts have helped him get the lead now in strikeouts in the conference heading into this week with 53, edging out a guy that we'll see against East Central. He's also second in the league in ERA at 1.47, second in the league with wins, I believe, at 5. He's just been very special, and he's been the talent that we knew he had last year that we didn't get to see.
Yeah, and all those accolades, they're great. It's not what we're striving for. It's just nice that those are happening for him. I think he has done an exceptional job of just being where his feet are, because there's a lot of other distractions that come with all this success, and he's worried about his next start, just stacking good day after good day, and the rest is going to take care of itself. So that's awesome to see from him.
And now you flip the page and you turn and you go back to a place that you're really familiar with, your former stomping grounds over at Decatur. You're going to play the number 1 team in the nation, the Warriors v Central. This is a team that very easily can go out there and throw out some football game kind of scores. But what are you expecting out of the Warriors when we go over there on Wednesday, first pitch at 3:00?
Well, we're gonna have our hands full. That's the best way to put it. It's a very talented group. I think the pitching numbers were a little bit inflated for them to start the year, which that's everybody. It's February baseball. Wind's always blowing out. Pitch counts aren't always built up. And so we'll definitely see a more polished version of themselves. I think it's going to be 2 fun games. And I think if we come out with 2 wins from there, it's not an upset. And I've told our team that multiple times, and I think East Central would agree with that. It's 2 very good teams. You can call it heavyweight matchup. You can call it whatever you want. I think that's what it has a shot to be this week. And so I'm looking forward to it.
And then on Saturday, you're going to make that trip over to Northeast. You're going to go visit the Tigers, go play them over at the Plex. What do we know about that bunch? What are you expecting out of them? I know that's a team that's kind of been up and down. They've had some splits that have been kind of interesting to see. But what do we know about that bunch heading into Saturday?
Booneville's always a tough place to go play. It's a place where Northeast is comfortable. They'll have everything going their way. Really talented group of guys as well. When I say it's a tough place to go play, I mean, just look at what happened with East Central going there. They'll win game 1 and then turn around and lost game 2, and they're coming out with a split. And so I'm sure we're going to have our hands full just as much there. It's a huge week for us. I'm looking forward to it.
And one little other bit of news, we can say that now that it's finally official and we can see it, we'll be the first ones to say congratulations, Coach. The Wolves are ranked for the first time in recent memory. I think that's fair to say. I told you in my 5 years we've never been receiving votes. Last week we were receiving votes. This week we're ranked number 25, so I think that's a little feather in your cap as the head coach. 19-10 and number 25 in the nation. So it'll be a top 25 matchup in Decatur on Wednesday.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's awesome to get that recognition right there. Our guys are doing a really good job. We're not too focused on that. But like I said, it's awesome to get recognized because I think we have a really solid group, and just in our league to be ranked, it's a very tough thing to do. So.
And that will wrap up our baseball segment. That will wrap up our coaches show for this week. Again, as a reminder, the newly ranked Co-Lin baseball team, number 25 versus number 1 in Decatur on Wednesday. 3 p.m. start time for the first one over there, 6 p.m. for game 2. We'll give you the stream information for those as we have it available. They'll go to Booneville on Saturday to play against Northeast, 2 and 5 start times there. As a reminder, softball will host Northeast on Saturday after they have played their games earlier in the week. And then tennis is also in action this week. We'll have tennis hosting Jones on Friday. That will be one of their last home games. They will also go on the road this weekend as well, too, over at Dillard. Again, that'll wrap up our show this week. I'm Kevin Kyzar, Sports Information Coordinator here at Co-Lin. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week.